Hi, I'm Winkers.
Hey, I'm Funjello.
We're the Cardboard Bastards, and the both of us have played a lot of World of Warcraft. I know, hard to believe.
Well, I mean, I haven't played since Wrath of the Lich King, so
Right, but you played a lot for like the games. Those three expansions, classic, TBC, Wrath. You played a lot. Let's just. I want to say most of the time you were either running a guild or part of leadership as well, right?
yeah.
So you've got that part of the philosophy covered. I've played a little bit of every expansion period since I want to say, well, except for Battle for Azeroth, which heard I dodged a bullet on that one. Uh,
Well, I did play a little bit of Pandaria.
that's true, you did actually, tiny bit.
Yeah.
So you got a little bit of that modern touch, but I'm very up to date on their philosophy in the feel, and it's pretty bad in some places.
Oh, let's just watch this trailer.
Yep. Can't see logo. For context, 10,000 years ago was
Ooh,
like time of the proto drakes.
It cries out in pain. We must go to its aid. We entrust our ancestral home to you, the Watchers.
are they actually doing like Alderman stuff?
But that stuff's been happening a lot. I mean,
Well, I don't.
I was say in Legion we straight up encountered the Titans stuff.
Oh,
These guys might look familiar to you though, because I know there was at least one in Wrath of Lich King
From our own
where you like woke him up and you like rode on his shoulder
you
in
will feel
Sholazar Basin.
our return,
oh yeah,
Beat the
yeah.
snot out of him. It's just
waking of the
good times
light.
back then.
Then you must light the beacon of Tearhold, lest the path home be lost to us forever.
And that's the issue. You sleep for more than 8 hours and you wake up just still fucking dog tired.
Right. Like he's the.
I think they're implying he's the last one. This is the whole deal though, right? The Dragon Owls are waking back up, whatever that
Yeah.
actually means. He's gonna go call Gondor for aid.
The beacons are lit.
He's gotta go light the beacon. Oh, and just so you're caught up, Azeroth is a Titan. Rise.
Who's been keeping this running like all these years?
Apparently the Titan technology just does not fail. I mean, those guys failed, but they were standing out in the elements. That's Tyr, who I don't know a lot about, but we've heard a million times. TYR.
I.
I want to say Tyr's hand has come up even. All the way
Oh
back in the
yeah.
vanilla. Yeah.
Oh, is this gonna be like a Thor moment where he's gotta?
Something like that. He doesn't quit, man. They knew how to make stone golems back then.
Yeah, dude, it's just this is it's Thor. Like he's just like they should have just straight up played the Avenger theme right there, and it would have been perfect.
Looks good though.
It does.
And what is Warcraft if not a bunch of pop culture references? Probably haven't seen that face since Dragonflight.
I haven't seen probably a lot of these dragons since.
Well, that's Alex Straza, like, specifically.
Yeah, I know.
That's nice, though. She saved her action figure before it hit the ground.
Is healing, but her fate is yet uncertain.
Kind of an interesting detail, though. Like, the waterfalls and the floating islands just started up.
Together, we shall be Azeroth's protectors once again. Here, the new age of dragons shall begin.
Okay. Are you pumped? Are you ready to play World of Warcraft again, Funjello? No, but for real. I mean, pretty good, all things considered. It's a part of the lore that I think has been in the game since vanilla. Supposedly there's Dragon Isles assets from way back when.
I remember talking about that. I mean, it's more than 15 years ago now that it was... We thought it was going to be like the Emerald Dream and, you know...
Yeah. Well, that's right. There was like stuff going into Mount Hyjal, right? Those were the obvious assets. There was like an Ashen Vale tunnel that seemed like it would go to Hyjal, and there was going to be like a raid in there. And then they were like, nah, Burning Crusade. And we were like, that was well, not terribly unexpected. There was a giant portal in the Blasted Lands the whole time. All the same, we've seen their offering of eye candy. Let's talk about the actual substance of the matter. And we're going to start with what is probably the most mystifying. It's a little bit of to quote something a little more contemporary, it's kind of a show the dog moment. I'm worried. They're talking about dragon riding, which is like replacing flying. The Dragon Isles apparently are going to be very vertical. There's going to be a lot of movement dependent zones. Things are going to be built.
So what are they going to do? Mounted combat?
I don't know if mounted combat is a thing. Possibly, but dragon riding is going to be a skill. It's going to have like a physics to it, and it's going to be a lot faster than normal flying, which like that all sounds fine, right? Apparently there's going to be areas you can't necessarily get to until you've like gotten the skill up, which is kind of a smart way to have flying at the beginning, but also not
they're just restricting you.
Yeah, not let you go everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very interesting idea. I don't know that it's going to like sell me on the expansion, but I don't hate it. I kind of like the idea. Like, so I don't want this to be a one-sided conversation, but I mean, you've heard me been saying this for a long time. I really, really kind of think that introducing flying in the first place was a poison pill. But if they're gonna build the entire expansion around flying, that's a little different. That's how you have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, I'm glad they're not restricting you to where you have to get to, you know, level 70 or level in order to get flying, and then...
Yeah, I'll say, was it? I think Cataclysm, you could fly right away, right? It's the only other expansion there. And that was, like, Cataclysm wasn't a well-received expansion, but I thought that was great. I was like, if you're going to have flying in the game, let people use it and design your content around it.
Yeah, I mean, and I also understand, like, you want people to go out and, like, see your content, like, you know, explore it on foot, everything else, but it...
Well, now you get to explore it in the sky, which, when we say that out loud, actually, I have to give them a lot of credit. Dragon riding makes sense, having a physics engine, because now you kind of are exploring, right? There's, it's not just like, pick a direction and hit numlock.
I think they're finally coming to terms with it, where, like, people want to fly, people want to, you know, because...
Yeah, people really hate... Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Well, no, a lot of the wasted stuff was running to, like, you're on a land mount, you're running to the next zone, and then all of a sudden, like, you get hit and you get stunned or whatever, or staggered or whatever.
That's actually not in the game anymore.
Really?
Yeah, you can't be staggered off your mounts. I don't even know that being stunned knocks you off. And they swim? Even the flying mounts swim now.
And
Mm-hmm.
y'all got it too easy.
No, so lately the way flying works is even when you hit level cap, flying hasn't been in. It's actually been like introduced in the 0.1 patch usually, and it's like behind an achievement you have to do.
Yeah.
And man, it doesn't
I mean,
feel great. I'll put it that
I kind
way.
of get that though. Like you want people to see. I mean, WoW is known for its like landscapes, everything else.
Yes.
You want people to see that. You want people to kind of go back to the roots, to explore and like spend time out in the wilderness and stuff. But
I just wish it was all or nothing. Is the thing,
Yeah.
and maybe not like all or nothing explicitly, but like in these areas you're on a ground mount. In these areas you can fly, and then just design it around that and not jerk people around. But I mean, this is probably
if they do it right,
yeah, if they do it right,
this
is
will
actually
be
a
good.
good idea. It's still kind of a weird thing to call attention to, other than that it's like it's great fantasy, right?
It's gonna be weird on how they restrict you. It's gonna be.
I should bring this up real quick. I think I didn't put it in my notes for us to talk about, but not only do you get dragon riding, but like you get a dragon at the start of the expansion, and it's customized. Like you get to customize how it looks.
Oh,
which is
well,
I mean,
they're gonna have
nice.
fun. They're gonna have fun with those in the mount offs.
Oh yeah. Asmongold's
Yep.
excited. I've seen that.
I'm sure.
All right, let's get away from a feature and let's kind of a weird topic, I'm sure for you because you haven't played for a while, but story. Because I mean, we're just coming off of Shadowlands. Is there any connection? Doesn't seem like it. Let's see. Sargeras lost in Legion, but he threw his sword at the world, and it's stuck in Silithus. You probably don't know that. There is a giant Sargeras sword just sticking out of the world right now, and it's just been there for like an entire expansion now. And I'm sorry, 2 entire expansions now, and they're not drawing any attention to it. It's really weird. I don't know what to think about it.
I mean, Sithlis was a decent area. He should have hit like Ungirl Crater. That would have been better.
It would look cool too, actually, if it landed right in the middle of the crater.
Right.
Yeah, Silithus got wrecked, and it's just kind of been there. Like they got to do something with it. Yeah, it seems like we're just ignoring that. Galakrond wasn't mentioned. I don't know if you know Galakrond. Maybe you've played Hearthstone and heard of him.
No.
Galakrond was like the first massive threat to the dragons. I think this was before the dragons were even modern dragons. This was like proto-dragon times, and this is when they all became aspects, was off of this. And he was like, I mean, Deathwing would have been tiny next to him. He's that big.
I mean, yeah, I don't.
Also, should probably bring up Rathian while we're talking about story.
I don't know. Who the hell is he?
So this was bullshit in Cataclysm. You like do these quests in the Badlands where like I'm not actually sure this is connected to him, but like it seems that way because you like steal a black dragon egg and purify it to get rid of Deathwing's corruption or whatever. And Rathian is the result, and he's actually the head of the Black Dragonflight right now, and he's kind of a neutral character. People don't know if he's good or bad because he's usually been good, but he's kind of like doing his own thing. He's honestly he's a cool character. And he's been trying to get to the Dragon Isles for like 3 expansions now, and no one will tell him where it is. Obviously, he's gonna get there now, and he's like, I'm gonna go reclaim the homeland.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is he gonna be the villain? Maybe that would be kind of it'd be too easy. Is the way I want to describe it. It'd be way too easy to go that route. I hope they don't do that. Jeez, I have this bad habit of like predicting their twists way in advance. I still have nightmares about the Diablo 3 beta. That's a called it I did not want in my life. Anyways, let's get back to features. UI overhaul. You played Final Fantasy 14. You've seen what you can do with the UI.
Yeah.
We're getting that in WoW. Good, bad, different.
No, I think it's about time because you don't have to do add-ons. You don't have to do like just stupid stuff. I don't have to follow, and then I keep up to date with those add-ons because like WoW came out with a patch where it was just a security fix or something else, but they had to update all the add-ons too. So now I got to re-download the add-ons, re-download the This has been a long time coming, and I can't believe that it's finally here.
Yep. Good. I honestly wish they would be harder on the add-ons. I wish there weren't as many. this is a bit of bias, and I don't want to bring up Final Fantasy too much because I'm sure some people hate that being mentioned. But I really like that there aren't add-ons, and you just kind of have to learn the game. It's a very nice, pure experience, and I feel like WoW would be fine with that because I mean, do you like having an add-on tell you when a boss is going to do something? Do you like that the fights are sometimes designed around that? Because that feels pretty bad. That's completely left field comment though.
It's 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like it, some people don't. So I mean, it's all personal, like whatever you prefer.
Okay, let's talk about something called Renown. You weren't here in Shadowlands. Basically, in Shadowlands, you picked a faction, you got to max level, you joined that faction, and then you basically had quests that you would do on a weekly basis that would raise your renown and unlock more stuff with that faction. This was not a good system. I'm just going to say that. Some people are probably going to disagree with me, but you're wrong. I'm going to say that to your face. You're wrong, and I'm not going to call you stupid, but it's just... No. Renown was not a great system that way, because you had too much stuff that was tied to it that made it mandatory. And... yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. In this one, Renown is more like a reputation grind. That's kind of quest related, which is cool. And you can do all of them, right, for each Dragonflight. And I'm like, okay, I don't hate that, especially if it like gives you stuff you want, but you don't need. That's kind of the balance they gotta find with that, in my opinion.
Hey, I'm part of the old, like, we had to grind reputation and we didn't have daily quests, so.
Dude, I preferred that. I liked that system. Renown I don't like because it time gates you. And it's like you have to log in every week, and that kills me because sometimes I need to take a couple weeks break from the game, and a lot of the time the Renown system punished you for that, where it's like, okay, well you're behind everyone in Renown now, and there's like catch up mechanics, but you have to play. I don't like weeks. That. Yeah, that's not good.
This is why. This is like, I mean, it goes back to my own thing, where I know people are going to argue this, but games should be going to that casual set where they don't set. I mean, granted, who cares if people are ahead of you? Whoop-de-doo. That's on you because you miss a couple days or whatever.
So here's my counter to that, right? Because like, yes, it shouldn't matter that people are ahead of you, right? Let them be ahead of you. No. Stop being selfish. The issue is that this isn't about people being ahead of me so much as it is like I am expected to be current, right? For the good of the raid group and stuff like that. And now it's like the entire group is punished because I wanted to not play for a week. And that's not great. I'm sorry. That's really shitty.
I know it's shitty, but that's also... I mean, that's you taking on that responsibility. I mean, same with Classic. Look at what we had to do for farming and everything else.
This is going to sound ludicrous to you. Shadowlands had more weekly upkeep than Classic by a lot.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Okay, so first of all, someone in the guild, some incredibly benevolent group of players, had to put in the time and resources for feasts, and those were expensive. Those were a grind in and of themselves. Everyone had to do Torghast to get their stuff for their legendaries, to keep them upgraded. Everyone had to do their Renown. Everyone had to do stuff in the Maw, even though we found out later, no, you really didn't. But at the time, it was promised that we needed to do it, so everyone did it. You had to keep your money up so you could buy your consumables for buffs, which meant you had to do some amount of dailies. You had reputations to grind. You had weird upkeeps to do for your faction that were like separate from Renown as well. You'd have to like... This was the weirdest thing. I was Venter, so I had to host parties. It's like a minigame. And like, I like minigames. I don't like being forced to do minigames, which is why Torghast and a lot of that stuff fell flat. People just started to resent them. And when you did stuff with your legendaries, you had to buy the base item, which was crafted by people, and the cost was based on the item level of the legendary, and these were expensive. So you had to like find time to make money as well, and this was just to like be current. This isn't even the extra stuff. All right, if I wanted a reputation grind for a faction to unlock a recipe, I had to do that in addition to everything else. It was terrible. I would pay. Dude, I would play 2 hours every day at least, just to maintain, just to maintain.
Dude, Classic, it was 6+ hours just to maintain my raid spot. I mean, I was looking at 600 gold in repair bills, and we didn't have dailies and shit, so we had to go farm items and sell them.
Okay, that's different though. You were the main tank.
No, I was off tank.
Same thing.
No, I mean, and then you
It's
get looking
the
at
same thing.
consumable.
You were in full plate with crazy
I mean,
durability costs.
you're looking at like consumables, everything else. You gotta go farm them. Like it sucked. It was legit, and like I know there's gonna be people like, oh well, yeah, well, Classic's been refined a long way since it first came out, and we were doing a lot of stupid shit trying to get money.
Listen, I don't want to call you out, but I know your guild was not that hard in Classic.
Yeah, we were.
It was towards the end maybe, but like you were in a cooperative or whatever.
No, I wasn't.
At the start, yeah, you were.
In the start, but I quit that like 2 weeks in.
There's some rose-tinted glasses going on right now.
Yeah, I didn't have that long. I got two pieces of mic gear, and then I left, and I went to IT.
I do remember you going on and farming with Azulus and Silithus all the time, but
yeah, that was when I was part of IT.
Here's the thing, though. That was like a routine. You weren't getting jerked around. I don't know how to explain it. It's not.
Doesn't matter. It's farming.
No, it was. That's the thing. Like, it wasn't farming. It was like, I'm talking about in Shadowlands. It wasn't like farming. It was chores.
That's what farming is. Chores. It sucked.
It's not, because like this wasn't. A few things you could do with friends, but most of it you had to do on your own.
I spent 3 months. 3 months trying to get my nature resistant trinket.
That was running dungeons, though. God, I forgot about dungeons too. That's right. You had to do Mythic Plus as well. So on top of everything I said, you also had to constantly run Mythic Plus dungeons to push your keys and get to higher levels for the vault.
I'm just saying that's typical hardcore raiding. Like that's what you need to do.
Oh, this wasn't even hardcore. We were just doing normal difficulty, and we had to do all this.
And I hope they bring that back.
You should see what Mythic is like.
Punish them. You want to be good? Be good. Put in the time.
No, I understand that, but that's kind of the divide. Is like this wasn't even heroic difficulty. This was normal. You had to do all this. If you wanted to see what you had to do to be in heroic on day one when it released, oh my god, you had to play. You had to play all day every day. I don't even. Know
That's what I did in Classic. I skipped school for Classic WoW. Like I yeah.
But like there was like a level of prestige attached to it that doesn't really exist in the game anymore, right? Because it was like that was the one thing, right?
Well, that's when you could go around Ironforge and people look at you and be like, "Oh man, like, do you want to come tank Strathome? The fuck you? I don't want to go to Strathome. Get the fuck out of here!" And then you'd have one of your friends come and be like, "Hey, you want to go farm some righteous orbs? Yeah, sure. Let's go to Strathome."
Yeah. So imagine all of that, except that no one gives a shit, and you have no clout for it. You don't. Also, when someone asks if you want to go to Strathome, you say yes. You say yes because you have to push your mythic key to get a better vault reward that week.
It's a different time, man. I miss it.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like it now. That's all I'm gonna say.
What were we on?
We were just talking about Renown. Let's get to PvP real quick, just a quick snippet.
I don't like PvP.
Care. Yeah, I know you don't like PvP. Oh, then you wouldn't have liked Shadowlands, because you had to do a little bit of PvP to fill in the holes in your gear when you got unlucky. I had to do that for my weapons. I had to get my weapons from PvP because I went dry on the raids 7 weeks in a row. Full clears. It's just and like it's not a group loot anymore. It's just a lottery where when you loot the boss, if you get loot, you get loot, and there's no like doling loot out. And I just got unlucky, and it was like it completely bricked me too. I was like towards the top of the DPS meters, and I could never get higher because I just couldn't find a better weapon. It's horrifying. But speaking of PvP, after that,
I never liked PvP.
Yeah, that's fair. If you lived through just the first 3 parts of the game, PvP was pretty rough, especially in Burning Crusade. Burning Crusade, it was like there was room to be really good at PvP, but you still had to be playing a PvP spec.
That was the best PvP. Like people say like that was the best PvP that PvP's ever going to be, is Burning Crusade.
We're not actually sure. I mean, people aren't sure about that, to be honest. A lot of people say that with the rose-tinted glasses, but like the people who have actually been playing the whole time are like, a lot of that was community attitude. But I mean, it's irrelevant now. The important thing is that.
Well, the thing is I think the arenas came out then, so like people were so pumped for that.
Anyways, Warlords of Draenor was a terrible expansion. It did one thing right, and that was the PvP systems, and those are coming back. Basically, you have your PvP gear, and it you put the gear on, and when you're in PvP, it's good. But if you want it to be good outside of PvP, you have to do a lot of PvP, and you pay points to upgrade its quality when you're doing not PvP stuff. So you have to work for it that way.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, for people who want to just PvP,
it's a good system.
Yeah.
Just a snippet there. That's my brother was the PvP god in the family. Unironically, just very, very good. Okay, so Dragon Isle zones. They're gonna be big. It's good. All that emphasis on the dragon riding, you gotta have a zone to kind of reward that flying around. I think to start with, we've got an image of Alexstrasza here in Thaldraszus, which is where the hub city's gonna be, Valdrakken.
Oh, she hasn't changed in years.
She has changed a lot. There's no way she looked that good back then.
I mean, she didn't have the gold, but
I think she did have the gold. I
Did
think
she?
Just the model was so much lower resolution back then.
probably.
Seems like the first ones they've got screenshots of are the Azure Span, which has a very both Grizzly Hills and Howling Ford feel to it.
It almost looks like, yeah, it does look like kind of between the two.
Yep. It's nice though. Those were good zones, aesthetics wise. I actually didn't like Grizzly Hills. Not because it was a bad zone. I ended up liking it later, but I could never get it started, and there was so much to do back in Wrath. I just never needed to use the zone.
What was the place with Azuros?
Azurgos?
The world boss. Yeah, Azurgos.
Oh, Azurgos.
What place was he in?
As Shara, right?
Yeah, that actually looks like.
It does. It does look a lot like Ashara. The golds and the oranges kind of sell it. And then here's more Azure Span. This is more the frozen area with the frozen lakes. Probably a Tuskar type zone. You can see one of the
Yep.
what is that, one of the toad type enemies that came later. More Azure Span, believe it or not. Kind of tells you how big the zones are going to be, that they can look this different in so many places. Of a foggier.
Actually looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Again, the art team never fails. I don't know why. I'm sure just everyone doing it is yay, I make the game look good. They don't have to worry about anything else. Everyone else who's making the game is people hate us. We're not sure why.
Oh.
We'll get to that later. I'm guessing this is from Own Aran Plains, where there's going to be a Centaur focus. These are new Centaur models, best I can tell. Definitely an upgrade.
Yeah. They don't all look the same.
Yeah, they used to be they kind of kept the shape of their face and everything, but they were so weirdly low res and butt ugly before. This has to be Waking Shores, because that's one of them half giant fire lava mammoth riding dudes. And on the left, that's got to be the new race class combination, which we will get to in a bit. It might be an NPC, but that's what they are. Forbidden Reach, Caldera of Mendes.
What, do these got fairies in it? What are those?
I have no idea what those are. They might just be bugs.
Is that a crab person on the bottom?
That's might just be a crab.
Kind of looks like a praying mantis crab thing.
I'm willing to bet this is still Azure Span. Maybe actually, that looks kind of undead, doesn't it? I don't know. It could be both. I think it's magic, which makes me think blue.
Yeah.
Here's Forbidden Reach again. It says Froststone Vault. So I'm thinking this is actually still Azure Span. It's all Azure Span. Incredible.
This is gonna be, because that looks like an air elemental.
Yep. We're high up in the mountains. This Caligos, that's what he looks like now.
Looks good.
Yep, it's an improvement. He's gotten better. Here we are in Onaran Plains. Those are Gorloks, right? From Wrath of the Lich King?
Yeah.
The Sholazar Basin. So Onaran Plains has some Sholazar type areas, which I mean that makes sense. Sholazar seemed very close to what we saw in the trailer. Thaldraszus Titan Temple. Just coming right out and saying it. Bronze dragon flying through. What do you think of
Actually
the
looks
trees?
good. I mean, look how the trees are they're still kind of like old school.
You remember what the old school trees actually looked like though, where they were these
Yeah,
big polygons that looked the same from any direction?
It does. It's a big area.
Mhm.
It really is.
You can actually see at the top. There's like
An
places to
instance.
go. Oh
It
yeah,
looks like an instance entrance way up at the top.
maybe. Yeah. There's the new Tuskar models, which I still don't forgive them for any. Oh, actually, that's a mount. That's gonna be a mount. They're on the right for sure.
I legit thought they were both men. Okay.
I mean, I'll admit they look cool, but
They do.
I'm still mad because in case anyone hasn't realized this, the skeleton for the male Pandaren came from them. That was how they cut corners, and that was such a terrible idea because honestly, the male Pandaren wireframe has to be the worst in the game. It is absolute garbage. Very depressing.
I didn't play that much in Pandaria, so I didn't.
Yeah, it's just it male Pandarens don't look good unless you're playing a spellcaster, and then they look
That
fine.
would be a cool mount, though.
Yeah, that looks like a leopard seal, but with spikes.
Yep.
On it. Oh,
There it is again.
Yep. I'd ride one into battle. Here we are in Waking Shores. For a second there, I thought we were looking at a Ark Survival Evolve screenshot.
It actually looks really good. Like
It does.
You actually have like perspective of distance and stuff, so it's
This one, better than any screenshot so far, kind of gives you an idea of the verticality of the zones and like how big they're going to be.
Yep.
Which I'm assuming those mountains in the back are all part of it as well. Waking Shores again. Some sort
that
of
like the
base
Dark
camp.
Moon Fairy. Like what is?
It says Dragon Scale Base Camp is the title of the image. That's like a Dark Iron Dwarf thing right there.
Yeah, it
on the
is.
left side. So, I mean, Dark Iron Dwarves are part of the Alliance now, if you didn't know that. Surprise!
Oh,
You can play as one.
boo. We hated them back in the day.
Too much time in BRD.
Way too much.
I'll never get over it. I'm guessing this is where you start. Because it looks kind of humble. And they do a good job of showing like the nature and
It looks like an exploration camp, like
Mhm.
where you would start, or like one of those side quests.
That's a little spicier.
This has got to be a dungeon.
Guessing this is where them half giants live.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they're not supposed to live there because that actually looks more like it would belong to the Black Dragonflight.
It's got to be an that has to be an instance area.
I'm ready for Onyxia and Aetherian to come back to life. Just
Oh,
be like, welcome
No,
to our house.
I killed them long ago.
Yeah, they came back in Cataclysm and we killed them again. Yeah. Ruby Life Shrine, Waking Shores. Okay, so the Red Dragonflight will be in Waking Shores as well.
Oh, okay.
And these are more traditional type Dragonkin, which apparently that's not what we're gonna get to play as, which I'm kind of bummed about because they always looked cool.
Yeah, that.
For that. Sorry, did you have something to say?
No, I mean it would have been cool, like playing as like the old school Dragonkin. That would have been pretty.
So while we're gushing on the artists, let's talk about tier sets, because tier sets came back at the end of Shadowlands and they were awful, but the new ones look kind of cool. We pull up the concept art for that. Well, these are labeled now too. They weren't labeled before. That's Death Knight, Mage, and Hunter, and I honestly think these are some of the weakest they've offered.
I feel like the mage is good.
You think so?
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Like
I mean, realistically, like you got to look at the detail, like the glow and everything else that's going to be coming off of them.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
mage
fabric
looks good.
going into these sets, even the plate ones that look kind of nice.
They're kind of going. They're going back to like primal stuff, so I mean, it's pretty cool.
I like the Hunter helmet. Honestly, if you had told me that was Death Knight before, I never would have believed you. I'm actually like kind of shocked. It almost doesn't look like plate to me for some reason, but I'm sure in game they'll be different. Let's get to the good ones, I guess. I like every one of these, especially Priest. That's the most badass Priest I've ever seen.
Priest looks good. Invoker looks good.
Evoker. That's going to be the new race class, which again
that looks good.
We'll get to it.
Of course, that's going to look good.
Yeah.
It's the new class.
Warlock, Demon Hunter, because Demon Hunters are a class now, in case you missed that.
I did miss that. Demon Hunter looks cool. I think that glow will be pretty cool if they do it right, like with the helm and stuff.
Yep. That's one thing. You never really know how the glow is going to look till you actually see it in game, and a lot of these could be overbuffed. But I think Priest is guaranteed to look cool.
Priest looks amazing. Like if those like little runes or whatever, like etchings on his armor, like glow, like like that would be cool.
Cloth physics should be really good with the tassels and everything. It's just like I feel like even if they do a lazy
Priest
job on it, it's gonna look cool.
Priest looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
That's a dragon priest. I believe it. Here we go. Honestly, I like them all. I kind of don't love Warrior the most, but when I imagine what Warrior will look like in game, I think it's going to be really good.
Warrior kind of looks like shit. Like
I think the concept art doesn't do it any favors.
Paladin looks okay.
Paladin I think is actually cooler than it even seems, because the cloth, there's a lot of cloth on it that's going to look really good in movement and stuff.
Maybe. Yeah, but
no one cares about monks. Let's move on.
Warrior looks like garbage. Like it really does. Warrior looks like it looks just like it looks like you've been mining rocks for all the time and like, hey, look what I got. I got these shiny rocks. Like I made armor out of them.
I gotta ask you, if you're running around with it and you actually have like these floating bits kind of constantly around you, does that make it
It'd be cool. It'd be cool, but still, man, that's still not like usually warriors have like the best, so I don't know.
We have these are the last ones. Rogue, Druid, and Shaman.
Rogue looks good.
Yeah, Rogue's fantastic.
Druid looks really cool because I imagine all that fur is gonna that's gonna be good. Shaman looks with that lightning, if they do that lightning in the
and they have the tech for it now, I can tell you that right now. They do.
Man, Shaman's gonna be beastly. I honestly I think Warrior got the shaft out of all this. Maybe Death Knight.
Looking through them, I really don't like Death Knight or Mage. Like I honestly despise
Mage will be cool.
I despise
Mage will be cool if, especially with like the shoulder pads, if they do. I
think
it'll all depend on the lighting and like everything else.
I guess. I think Warrior is gonna look better than it appears in the concept art. Is my thought on it.
Maybe.
Because it's kind of hard to convey.
I don't know. Warrior better be good. I play Warrior, so that's all I'm saying.
Paladin's fantastic. It's like the more I look at Paladin, the cooler it
honestly,
looks.
The Paladin looks good, but I wish they would have kind of went with like tier 2 vibes with it, where they would have went with like a skirt.
Yeah,
I kind of don't like.
They kind of have that a little bit, and it looks good, but they're not quite there.
Like if you take that and like take the upper torso of the Paladin and then put it on the Priest, like for the lower half of the Priest, that would have been good.
All right, let's get to. I want to say the second most exciting bit, which is the new race class, the Drakthir, which they are a race and a class. They have their own class, and it's the only class you can be on the race. They have a Dragonoid form, which honestly, they definitely let the furries take the reins on this one, because like, and then
dude, the first they don't look good.
Honestly, I think they look fine, but the
black one looks fine, but the other two I don't like. I don't like any of them.
They're going to be very customizable, which I don't. It's such a mixed feeling because like they've always been bulky, so they look weird to me.
Yeah,
and
I don't like.
It definitely looks like
I don't like anything.
I'm just gonna come on say it. Someone wanted to fuck these things.
I don't like anything about them. I really don't like. I don't like that.
And then you get to they have a humanoid form, which honestly, I actually dislike the humanoid form even more. I think it just
looks like
form,
they like.
So here's the thing about the dragon form. They're naked in this picture. I think they're gonna look really good with equipment on.
Yeah.
But the Dragonite form is like,
I don't know.
Very awkward to me. Very strange. Kind of almost a Butterface situation. Like they tried to make models, but they look Funky? I
I
don't
don't
know what
like
else to
that. Like
say.
that dude has like a third eye. Go back. Go right there. Look at. There's like
No,
three of them.
nah, that's just jewelry. Actually, that looks like adornments you can put the character.
I don't like that. I don't like the. I don't like the humanoid form. I don't
Yeah.
like anything about. I don't like this
I
new
don't like the
race.
humanoid form either. I think it's bad.
Nope.
But we have gifts too.
And like, wait, go back to that.
We have movement.
Go back to the picture once.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. This one.
Back one.
What about him?
Man, like 2 of them dudes are packing more than what they need. Like, what the fuck?
Anyways, we have gifts of them in movement, and even just having a tabard on makes them look a lot better. That's the first thing I have to say. They also look less unsettling when they move. That dance is horrendous. I don't know why that gives me bad vibes. It's actually a good dance, but something about it makes me uncomfortable.
I don't even think of tabards, man. Like,
I want to see them in real equipment. Apparently they're going to be able to fly, though. They're going to be their own flying mount, which is fine.
Oh, that would be cool if, like, you can be your own flying mount, but then you have to do, like, a quest to unlock someone could ride you. So that would be...
But only the small races. You can give them piggyback rides.
Yeah.
They actually have a mount from Cataclysm where you use it and it turns you into a dragon and someone can ride you when you do it. So that's already in the game. I don't know if that's going to happen with these guys. Probably not. It's like, yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
I do. It's fine for me. But, like, immediately they get more unsettling when they don't have any clothes on. I think it's because they're proper naked. I think that's what makes it weird.
I think it...
I'm gonna say
like,
it.
see, okay, so, like, this one, there's, you can actually see the scales and stuff. Go back to where he's running. He does have definitive scales and stuff, but it's...
You think it's a little too blended? But that's a customization thing.
I know, but you can tell, like, maybe it's just me, but you can tell when they're rotating the camera when, like, the graphics crew kind of like shit out. So see, like, it's definitive scales, and then it's flat, definitive scales, and then it's flat, definitive scales, and then it's flat. Like, they never properly like raise it. Like, so that maybe it's just a graphical thing for me. Like, I just don't.
To be fair, we're not even in beta yet, so that what you're seeing might be fixed. Also, it's a GIF, so the image quality isn't as good as it should be. Just like a basic walk.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
It doesn't bother me too much.
I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the new race.
Well, remember, they're a race class combination, and maybe the class will be cooler to you.
Maybe.
Who
do I mean?
So
because when is this coming out?
We don't know yet.
Okay, so this is
beta sign up.
This is alpha and stuff. Like,
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
actually, I read this just recently, but while we were waiting to set up, apparently there are going to be other body types where they're like bulkier and stuff. So it might just be the slender body type doesn't fit you well, but
maybe that is. I mean, and it could be the graphics too. Like, there might be they still might be working on some stuff, and it's...
So get excited because the class is going to be a spellcaster. I know you love spellcasters. They're only going to have 2 specs like Demon Hunter. They're going to have a healer spec and a DPS spec. But in all fairness, some cool tech for the DPS. I guess this is going to be part of the healer as well. Is they're going to have a new ability type where you actually hold down the button to like charge up your skill and release them stronger, and that's kind of interesting. At least they found something new to do with it. I got to give them a lot of credit for that.
I mean, technically, way to be like 10 years too late.
Wow.
But hey, if you want to hold down a button to charge an ability.
Also, I don't remember where it was that I saw it. It was in footage. I couldn't track it down in time. But there's like a dive bomb they do that releases an attack. It looked like part of the animation. It was almost like, you know how Heroic Leap gives you that weird movement that seems abusable, and then even just like Demon Hunters can double jump and glide and shit.
Yeah.
These guys are gonna have that too, which I think is kind of neat because the more they standardize that, the more they can let characters get into the fantasy and have crazy movement and stuff. It's time to get to the most exciting detail of the expansion. Probably the absolute biggest. The one that having an old style voice. I'm gonna talk about talent trees. coming back.
Yes.
I'm sure if you played in Mists of Pandaria, the most jarring thing to come find was that they had gutted the talent system in favor of. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like they went from Lego to Mega Blocks. You just lost all customization. Everything lost all nuance. It was big, safe, holding your hand. You couldn't fuck up and you couldn't be unique, and it was not great. Right, there's got to be a little bit of room for mistake and also a little bit of room for refinement. Now we have new talent trees, which
Are they all brand new?
something like that. It's definitely a new system.
Yeah.
It's the system they should have gone to when they decided they wanted to revamp them. Is what I would say. You have 2 talent trees now, and they each have their own pool of points. And you get one every even level. I'm not sure if it's even or odd, but you get one every. We'll just say you get one every even level.
What level do you level to now?
70 for this expansion.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get one every even level, I believe, for your specialization, and then you're gonna get one every odd level for your class. That's kind of shared between all the other specializations. And I believe it was gonna math out to 31 for your spec and 30 for your class.
Oh, okay.
So you're gonna have 2 talent trees. You get one every level after 10. Again, thank goodness. You want to know what sucked? Getting one every 10 or 15 levels, and just having nothing happen between that. That was really made progression not.
That was garbage.
Yeah, that's not good. I had a screenshot here of something talent related. I think it was for Druid. I'm gonna track it down real quick. Here we go. Kind of gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. Circle abilities are like minor stuff, where it's passive, and then I believe squares are actually actives. Like those are new skills you're seeing.
That'll be cool though. I mean, that's kind of what I miss. Like gaining, I mean, you had to do this to get to the next skill because you had to, and some of them were kind of garbage. Back in the day, it was like, oh, I'm a tank. I'm a tank. Why do I need 5% crit? Like.
And one of the cool things is this is replacing their borrowed power system, which I'm so glad you didn't have to live through that. In a lot of the recent expansions, you would get to level cap, and there would be something story related that gave you a new ability, and it would go away the next expansion. Like you knew it was not going to stick around.
And
that didn't feel
what
great.
are the diamonds on the side?
I have no idea. I'm guessing maybe once you get to a certain tier, you get those automatically.
Yeah, you unlock them.
Something like that.
Maybe.
But
obviously not.
Apparently,
the whole.
Sorry, go ahead.
So obviously not the whole tree is there too. They're not revealing the whole tree.
I think it is
because
the whole tree.
Look how many Druid points available and then restoration points available. Like, can you duel?
What do you mean? No, I told you, you get points for each tree. You get 30 and 31.
Oh, okay.
Some of these have like arrows on them too. And I'm wondering if that means you can toggle.
It probably benefits from both on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
So you just don't go one. There'll be different talents.
I'm not going to think too much about it. All I know is that this system looks way more interesting than what we currently have. Like, I could actually sit down after experiencing some content and then make some meaningful decisions to make my character better for that content. And I like that.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
He's just another one. Be the balance portion, which balance Druid is the worst spec in the game. Don't play it. If you enjoy playing it, I don't like you. I don't trust you. There's something wrong with you. Be a therapist. You're boring.
Fire.
No, yeah, I don't want to go off on a tangent about how balance is made. It's a very simple spec that makes me uncomfortable. Sometimes it's good, and I don't want to play it, and I don't want to feel pressured to play it. And that happened at the start of Shadowlands. People know what I'm talking about if they live through Castle Nathria being the cutting edge content. Oh, here we go. Actually, there's some details here. Squares, active abilities, circles, passive abilities, hexagons, choose an ability. That is interesting. So the old style thing of like having one of 3 choices actually comes back. but hybridized with the new tree, which is kind of cool.
It'll be interesting to see what. Yeah.
All we have is a very bare bones druid thing to look at, which I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to. So, what do you think about the talents?
It'll be interesting to see like how they're all played out, and then what like you can all choose and stuff, and like what is the sub. I mean, obviously the circles and stuff. So like, what way do you want to go to get there? Because obviously on the restoration points, like they're picking all the way down. Like so,
Yeah,
it's
that's usually how it works. You got to get to the bottom on one side. Maybe you can get to the bottom on both pretty easily.
and seeing how many points you need to spend for each tier, and then seeing how many points you need, like, or how many points you need to spend to get to the next square, or whatever they're gonna do for the restrictions and stuff. It's gonna be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad they're bringing back talent trees. I really am.
All right, less exciting, but still kind of really exciting. The profession system is getting revamped a bit. You're going to have crafting tables in cities that you have to go to, which I don't hate, because I feel like if you're going to have community hubs, you should give people reasons to use them. There's going to be crafter gear, which is taken right from Final Fantasy XIV.
That's a little weird.
But you're going to have new gear slots for them. So it won't take up backspace, right? You just have it on, and when you start crafting, I think your character's appearance will change. And that's part of a quality system, where having better ingredients and working more on a specific type of equipment, like if you're a blacksmith for armor smithing, you're going to be able to make better stuff by putting more time into it. And that's
good. And I know
it's good, but it's scary.
Yeah, but I know they've been trying to do, because I mean, I know in like Classic and like TBC TBC was a little bit different, but I know in like Classic, like if you were an armor smith, it was, you can make resistance gear for molten core, and then everyone's like, you don't need resistance gear for molten core. But it was, I mean, there were certain professions where it was just garbage.
Yeah,
it was, and I do like how they're trying to bring that back into WoW. Like they're trying to make professions actually worthwhile, actually do something.
So here's something you might not have heard of: work orders. You're going to be able to take your mats and set up a work order and have a crafter pick them up and make it for you, and there won't be any possibility of you getting scammed.
That'll be nice.
Yep. I do have one big fear, though, and that's that guilds are going to funnel all their resources to the guild crafter, and that guild crafter is going to reach like the cap immediately, and it's going to become a mistake to go to anyone else. And
Probably.
I'm gonna be like, how hard is it gonna be for me to max out my crafting skills?
I can definitely see like top end guilds basically running the market on certain things when shit comes out.
It's just it's a matter of there kind of needs to be a place for tiers of crafters, not just the best ones. So I'm not sure how they fix that, how they reconcile that, but they should really think about that. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't really know what they could do to fix that.
Yeah.
Or I don't know enough about the systems, to be honest. Do you have anything about the expansion you've heard that you want to bring up real quick before we kind of push this to the end?
Not really. The only thing I've ever looked at was the tier sets, so that was it.
Fair enough. What did you think of them overall, actually?
The tier sets?
Yeah.
I think they look decent. They look pretty good. Some of them I do really like. Like those are gonna be awesome tier sets. And I mean, because they still have transmog, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so people can mix and match with the tier sets and stuff, which I'm sure people will come up with some cool.
It's gonna happen.
Things. Obviously some of them I didn't like. I'm hoping Warrior didn't get the shaft, but
I think Warrior's gonna look a lot better. Like
I think it will,
practice.
like with the details in the background, and so I think it will.
But we have to get to the closing at some point, and we have to say that Blizzard is Blizzard. When we were kids, that meant it was always going to be good. Not what it means anymore. They are very good at promising and marketing, not the best at delivering. I just want to say, from my perspective, if you want to know whether or not this expansion is going to have like something to really be optimistic about, you're going to find out in beta. Because people are going to tell them things, and they're either going to listen or they're going to tell you that you just don't
That
see the big
was
picture. And if they say
that
that,
was
run. Just fucking book it. Get your money out of there. Cancel your pre-order. Do not, under any circumstances, give this game the time of day if they pull that shit. Because I'm going to tell you right now, in the last 4 or 5 expansions, I'm sure Funjello has heard about this, even though he hasn't really played the game. They like to do this thing where a problem comes up, and they try to get people to come back by not fixing the problem until the next big patch.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but WoW has always like it really has been. They've always been too like arrogant. They've like people
Arrogant's a good
complain
word.
about they've complained about like people will complain about something and then they're always just like late to the party. They're like, "Oh, well, we fixed that in this patch." Well, that's not an issue now because you came up with all this.
Exactly.
So they like to hide their mistakes.
What do you think about
But
Microsoft buying the company? You think
that's
that's
the
going to
thing
show?
now.
Yeah, that's honestly, I don't think I'd be giving them a second chance if it weren't for a change in leadership kind of looming over them.
And really, like a lot of the Blizzard employees aren't there anymore. Like the higher ups aren't there anymore.
Yes, that's true. There
So
were some
it's
allegations. It's not a secret.
yeah. I mean, a lot of them are in jail,
Yes.
and
Are they in jail? I
it's
actually don't know.
some of them are, or they're pending.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Soon to be. Soon TM. Thanks, Blizzard.
I think it's going to be a different expansion because of Microsoft. Like, and realistically, I think they're going to hit their deadlines. They're gonna.
I think it's going to be different because like Microsoft's going to come in, and if they don't like the employee, they're going to fire them. So like there has to be some feeling by the developers where it's like we have to work for our jobs. And honestly, it feels like they haven't had that for a long time. Like the game has just been in a too big to fail state where no one really held anyone accountable, or someone was always able to weasel out of it. You know, whoever.
But see, my biggest thing is so this was already planned before Microsoft bought Blizzard, and this has been in the works and everything else, and it's still so it was developed. Everything was built before Microsoft bought them.
Which
so
it's not necessarily
it's not bad, but you have to remember this is all still like old Blizzard stuff.
But at the
so
same time,
it might not be bad.
It is important to remember though that while this isn't before Blizzard, this is the first expansion developed since Classic, which that could be a very good thing because Classic kind of reminded people of the old WoW magic and stuff like having giant zones that they want you to experience. And these talent trees coming back tells me that maybe they've been paying attention, and that could be that could be cause for optimism. But again, you're gonna know in beta by how they treat the feedback from the player base. That's gonna tell you where the head
we'll see
of the developer
we'll see the time frame.
Yeah,
if it's going to be like a typical time frame for Blizzard or if it's going to be like a time frame for Microsoft.
All right, let's get to the magical question. For the man who hasn't played really since Wrath of the Lich King and only played a little in Pandaria, what would you have to see to consider playing the game again? Like, what would you have to see from Blizzard if you had to, if they came to you and said, "What do you need?" And don't say gnome paladins.
Man, I just want to be a gnome paladin.
Okay, other than gnome paladins.
I think me personally, I like for me to come back to WoW. I mean, you know my take on it, but it would take more information, like on the talent trees and stuff. I do like the areas. I like the screenshots they put out. I don't care how gear looks. I'm not that kind of fanboy. But it would definitely be. I think the talent trees are the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that, seeing some of the like the reputation grinds and stuff, like seeing how the unlocks are gonna work. Like, do I have to sit there and if I want to unlock this part of this area, do I have to farm like 40 plus hours or what do I have to do to unlock this? Like seeing different unlocks because I'm not gonna go raid hardcore. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Like, and for me, like
something
I got a job and stuff.
Yeah, I should bring this up. Something we didn't talk about is that the game has become very alt unfriendly lately. Where like that, so all those grinds I talked about in Shadowlands.
Yeah.
If you had 2 characters, you had to do everything twice.
And that's
Literally everything twice.
and
Yeah,
so it all it all depends. Like I need more information before I would have to make that decision.
exactly.
I mean, right now,
Stuff
like
like the
as it
renown
sits,
system needs to be account wide. Let's say that right now.
so like right now as it sits, like with the information that they released, no, I probably wouldn't go back.
So you,
I
you
wouldn't.
gotta you gotta see more in the right
Yeah,
direction from beta. Okay, fair.
I would have to.
I think I'm very likely to play it. Just at the start because Shadowlands was good for like the first month or two, and then it stopped being good.
Yeah.
Which I get the feeling at the very
See, but
least
like,
we're
so
gonna
like
get a little
that's
bit
my
of,
thing.
of good at the beginning.
So like that's my thing. I don't like if I'm gonna come back, I don't want to play it for 2 months and then just be like, yeah, okay, I've seen everything. Like I want to, I have that like old raider mentality. Like I want to see instances. I want to see this. I want to see that. So like they got to give me more of what like I want to see. I want to see some of the instances. I want to see
Mhm.
like what are you planning on coming up with for raids? Like what are you all doing here?
They did announce that Mythic dungeons, like Mythic Plus.
Yeah.
I know that's a system you're not terribly familiar with. Basically, you keep making the dungeons harder and harder, and you actually get epic loot for it, and it gets close to raid quality. It gets
Yeah.
better than like the Dungeon Finder raid quality, which is nice because it is kind of a competitive format. But what they're gonna do has actually been interesting because you're gonna have 4 of the dungeons from Dragonflight in the Mythic Plus rotation, and then I guess they're gonna like revamp 4 older dungeons for modern content to also be part of the rotation.
That'd be fun. That would be cool.
Yeah, that's bringing up Final Fantasy again. That's a little bit Final Fantasy to reuse kind of, but that's smart. It's a good idea
Yeah.
because there are a lot of good dungeons out there in the past that are competitive and fun to play. So you know, we'll keep an eye on it. I'm keeping an eye on it at least.
Yeah, that'll be. I don't know, man. Time will tell.
Yep.
Time will tell.
Anyway, I'm Linkers.
Hey, I'm Funjello, and it would really help us out if you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.
I was gonna say, and we're Cowardwood Bastards, and then end it. But yes, that is very good. We probably need that a little bit right now. Still a bit of a fledgling channel. Anyways, tell us your thoughts. Tell us how you feel about it. Tell us if you think we're completely out of our fucking minds, or if you agreed with some of the things we said.
Yeah, I want to see you guys argue down in the comments.